What's up, guys? This video was supposed to be a different video today. I wanted to redo the exhaust on the back of my 66 Mustang in preparation for some changes I'm going to be doing down the road. And I ran into some snags and I changed my mind on a couple stuff. So actually, let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, I do like the way that the exhaust tips come out the back, and I've got this cutout here for the exhaust and everything. That works good. And that's fine, but I'm going to be making some changes in this area, and I'm concerned that my routing of the piping is going to get in the way of all of the stuff I'm going to be doing. So, I don't want my exhaust just to dump out right here in front of the differential. I don't like the drone sound that it creates when you do that. In fact, when I put in this whole panhard bar system, I had just put the exhaust tips right here and then took it to a muffler shop and had them build all this setup just to get this thing, to get it out the back of the car. What I wanted to do was go to the side and come out here in front of the rear tires on each side, but this is in my way, and I don't know what I want to do and how to set this up, because I want the exhaust tip to come out right here, but obviously I'm limited because the car's low. I can't put the extension pieces like these guys down here, like these things. You can put that on there and then get the car up, but I can't get these under the car with this in place to get around the exhaust tip to be right here. I guess I could maybe put some of those ramps down on the ground and drive the car in ramps, then lift the car, but that's a lot of extra work. And anyways, enough rambling on that. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with the exhaust. And I was going to just try to get ahead of what I'm going to be doing back here by changing the exhaust so that it was out of the way when it's time to make those changes. But maybe the best thing to do is just wait until I get this stuff changed out and then figure out what I'm going to do with the exhaust. So I got another idea. In my 1968 F100, I recently swapped out the stock Crown Vic suspension on the front. I did that Crown Vic swap a while back. I put in some QA1 Double Adjustable Coilovers. So why don't we take the truck out and see how that performance has changed that truck. Now that I've got the QA1 coilovers in the back for that S550 swap that I did, now I've got the Crown Vic done, all that stuff done, the truck is starting to get dialed in, I got those new wheels and tires on there. Let's go see how this truck handles and how much better it is now that we got that set up. So I guess the first thing I should do is correct a wrong that I did, or misinformation or bad information. And what I mean by that is when I set up the rear coilovers here on the back of my truck with that S550 rear end, and then when I did the front coilovers, I set both of them for compression and rebound to 4 clicks. And I shouldn't have done that. First of all, you don't want to set them at the same. You're not going to get the desired performance from them. It's not going to drive good, no matter what settings. Whether it's 0, 0, well, actually that's probably not the worst, but any setting number where they're the same, you're not going to get the characteristics you're looking for. But what are the settings? You know, not everybody's familiar with tuning suspension. You know, there's probably guys out there that could make some sort of custom fuel map for a new turbo on their engine, but have never touched suspension. So what does that mean? And so maybe I can help out a little bit. On my coilovers, I've got double adjustable. And what that means is I can control the compression and the rebound of my shocks. The shocks don't support the truck, the spring's supporting the truck, but the shock is controlling how fast it reacts. That's probably the best way to put it. If you had, let's just take compression. With compression, the more clicks we go up on the dial, the more resistance we are adding to the compression, the more we're making it not compress quickly. So if you had too high of compression, The advantage is the vehicle could feel darty. It can be, the precision may be there for the steering you're looking for, but you're giving up, how fast how easily it can soak up any kind of bump. And the downside is it can be unpredictable and cause problems with how the truck or car handles, and that's not what we're looking for. Conversely, if you had too little compression, the car or truck could feel, it would soak up the bumps, which is great if you have crappy roads like where I live, but then the car feels floaty and not precise, and that's not what I'm trying to build here. So in my setting, I started with 4 clicks of compression in the front and the rear, and I have since changed it. I'm still 4 clicks in the rear and compression, but I did 6 clicks on the front. And that's where my starting point. I'm gonna get some miles on the truck and kind of see how it drives and how it handles, and I can go from there. But for rebound, it's a different setting. So the higher the clicks, the turning up the rebound, the more resistance we are to letting that shock go back down or out, or however you want to look at it. And if you have too high of rebound, the shock can respond too slowly to going over a bump, and it doesn't go back to where it's supposed to fast enough. And it can feel, I don't know, packed down is a term that they use, that the suspension is staying compressed and it's not coming back to where it needs to be and ready for the next bump or the next turn or the next braking scenario. And then if you had too little of rebound, then your shock can go back quickly, which is great for uneven terrain, off-road stuff. You'd want higher rebound so the shock can get back to where it needs to be, ready for the next bump. But it can feel bouncy and more like a pogo stick. That's the way to describe it. And so you're trying to find that balance of how much rebound do I want to dial in there so that I get the suspension back to where it needs to be, but it doesn't feel bouncy. So on my truck, I've got, I had 4 clicks in the rear and rebound, and I put them up to 6. And I'll explain why I went higher with rebound here in a second. And in the front, I was at 4 clicks of rebound, and I went up to 8. So I've got, for the front, I've got 6 and 8 for compression and rebound, and 4 and 6 for compression and rebound in the rear. You want higher settings in the front. The truck, in my case, is heavier in the front. I'm looking for more control, more precision out of the front, and I want it to be a little bit higher setting. In the rear, I don't want higher settings because the truck can get squirrely. If it's too stiff in the back end can step out on me when I don't want it to do that, and that's something I'm trying to avoid. Now, are my settings perfect? Is this where you need to be for your F100 with the Crown Vic front and the S550 rear? I don't know. I'm gonna have to put some miles on this truck and see where I come out. I've only driven this truck a handful of times since I put the suspension in, and I'm still trying to figure things out. So maybe I probably should have saved this video for later when I've got more miles, but I did want to talk about the settings that I set up at the begin with, and maybe what I should have done with those instead of just leaving them at 4 and 4. That probably wasn't the best idea, and I want to correct that. So going back to that rebound, if you didn't know where to start at all, they say start with rebound first. Put both of the settings, both the knobs at 0, and start with 2 or 4 or 6 clicks of rebound and go up from there until you can control the bounce of the vehicle. That's the first one you want to start with. You always want to start with rebound, and then once you get the bounce under control, then you want to dial in the compression. And dialing the compression is going to control the body roll, or how the truck handles, in my case truck, handles with that compression. The more compression I add, the more resistance to it compressing, and I want to dial in how precise and how much I can carve the truck on a corner and not have it feel soft and squishy and floaty like your grandma's Cadillac, right? So on my settings, again, what I've got is a good starting spot, and as I drive the truck, I'm kind of starting to feel where the truck feels stiffer. Not too stiff. I don't want a floaty truck, but I don't want something that is just not fun to drive at all. That's not an interest of mine. I want to be able to enjoy the truck, and the roads around here are just so crappy that you're going to feel all the little bumps, and it's going to shake you around the truck, and but I'm trying to get that precision, and so I'm gonna slowly turn up the dials until it gets too harsh, and then I'll go from there. As far as the coilovers themselves, again, build quality has been great. The install was really easy. I'm real happy with them, and that's why I've got them on the front and rear of my Mustang, and now the front and rear of my F100. I'm happy with QA1. They're giving me what I need, and they give me the adjustability that I'm looking for. As far as the height, let me pull over up here and we'll talk about the height of the truck, and we'll show you what I'm talking about. So the height of the truck is actually pretty good where it sits now. I think I might come down a little bit more, but that's one of those things that's going to take a little bit of time to kind of figure out what I want. I probably should have the tire straight, but in fact, if anybody's curious, this is how much this wheel is full lock, and I can get my finger in there, so we're not touching, so that's good. And then the back, well, nothing's really changing with that, but I can barely get my finger in there, so I could go a little bit more in the back. And because I have the independent rear suspension, as the tire compresses and goes up, it actually tucks in, so I don't have to worry about this edge meeting this tire as much, because the tire is going to go inward as it goes up. So anyways, yeah, so the height, I think I'm looking pretty good. I could go down a little bit more. I'm not looking for a low rider, but I want a lowered truck, if that makes sense. That's what I'm kind of going for. So come on this side again, same thing with this. Yeah, there's some room in there. We're good. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Let's head back to the garage and wrap this thing up. So we made it back. This setting that I have right now on the truck is pretty good for now. And it's one of those things where you're just gonna have to drive the truck or the car, whatever you've got, and get a sense for how it feels. I've got really crappy roads, and then I've got a real new, like a new paved road, and it just feels like glass, and it's awesome. And it's not really a good gauge for the truck performance, because I got so many different, I got smooth and I got crappy. So I'm trying to find something that fits both. And if you were to ever take it to the track, you're gonna have smooth roads or smooth track, and that would be awesome. That's where you want. But where I live, just trying to dial into where I'm at and the kind of driving that I can do around here. But so far, I think we're looking pretty good. This is a good place to end this. I think, again, I wanted you guys to know what the settings were for my coilovers, what I should have put them at, what they are now, and then maybe a little more information about compression rebound, in case you guys didn't know that stuff. So when you're setting up your vehicle, that you at least have something to go with and kind of go from there and understand that stuff. So cool. So if you guys are still here, if you're still watching, how about a little bonus? I was trying to film some side footage, of the side of the truck and everything, and my GoPro fell off. When I was going, good thing I saw it. I just happened to look in the side mirror and just saw it tumbling along the road, and gosh darn it. Shoot. I think with these, I have one of those media mods things that come off, and I can plug in stuff to this, so I can replace that. It's all chewed up and beat up, and then I think these lenses come off or something on these. On this I have a GoPro 12, and I think I can replace that broken piece, and the rest of the camera should be good. But gosh darn it. Oh well, is what it is. It's the cost to making YouTube videos, I guess. So cool. All right guys, that takes care of that. We'll see you in the next one.